Hello and welcome to our Youth in Action live forum here on the Serenity Resource Connector. We do this every fifth Thursday where we have the youth leaders, primarily from Clarendon, sharing about their specific areas. On this episode, we're going to be having our student counselors joining us, representing Clarendon College, Denbigh High School, and Glenmuir High School. In a little while, I'll bring them on, but you can go ahead and share in the comments where you're joining us from, which institution you're representing. So let's hear from you in the comments where you're joining from, which institution you're representing. I am Winsome Sharia Witter, and it's always a pleasure to host this series here on the Serenity Resource Connector. If this is your first time tuning in, a warm welcome to you. Be sure to subscribe, set your notification, and share so others can benefit from the information that will be shared here on this and other episodes. You saw the schedule earlier. If you missed it, we'll have it again at the end of the broadcast so you can see the different episodes that we have each Thursday at 8 p.m. For all the Serenity Resource Connector family that joins us week after week, it's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you for always tuning in and for sharing the information so others can get access to much needed resources. So, without further ado, let's bring them on. We have Tobijah Patterson from Clarendon College,
Hello.
Shaniel Brooks, Denbigh High School,
Hi everyone.
Ronald Allyson, Glenmuir High
Hello,
School.
everyone.
Welcome. It's always a pleasure to share space with our young movers and shakers. Amazing. All right. So, our objective is clear. We are here to share some practical tips because for a number of us going into high school, right? It's a new things all around, new environment, new faces, new subjects, new teachers, new classmates, a lot of new things to navigate. And we go in with different challenges, new personalities. That's a big one. There's so many other things that you need to. I know you would have gone through orientation already. You got accustomed to the campus. Some of you would have gone to summer school, and so you would have met some new people, but you're going to be seeing some new faces coming in. So we're going to start off by having Tobijah share from Clarendon College sharing one of his experience going into high school and how it is that he can guide you, give you some practical tips on how to navigate that. Tobijah, go ahead and share.
Okay, hello everyone. So it's Tobijah Patterson here from Clarendon College. And so it is a pleasure always to represent my school because it is indeed the best school. Okay, so in adjusting, it's not easy, especially when it's your first year in high school. You're just coming out of primary school and you pass for your school of choice. And so you're going to be excited. It's going to be a lot of emotions. But what you must know is that you will make it through, and you're not alone. Your classmates, your teachers, they're all there to help you. And so the first step in taking in adjusting in your new environment is always to pray and trust God. Because in everything that we do, we have to let God direct our ways. Also, we have to learn to communicate because communication is key. And for my first year at Clarendon College in first farm, it wasn't that easy because I'm not a person to communicate that much. I'm a shy person, to be honest. And so it was really hard at first. And I'm like, God, how should I do this? I can't do this. But then, as I said, I'm a Christian, so I prayed and trusted God. And so little by little, I, reached out to one or two of my classmates and so on, and it became a bond between them. And so another point is that don't treat your classmates, your teachers as rival, but as family. Because one F at Clarendon College for me was a family. And so once you get to know each other, it's gonna be easy. And I think that's it. So just communicate. Don't be afraid. Just be you.
All
That's it.
right. All
Yeah.
right. So we have a minister in the mix. All right. Okay. So Romeo, always a pleasure to have you here. Romeo is from Palmer's Cross, CDC, community. I mean, advocate is always so passionate about the youth and so many other development issues. We have Elvis Souto here from the Aqua Nation representing. Hi, Elvi. Great to have you and the other members of Team Denbigh High, Team Clarendon College, Team Glenmuir High. Always a pleasure to have you in this space. So, Shaniel, what was your experience in first form and how would you advise newcomers to adjust based on what you experienced?
Okay, so from my first year in high school, I didn't really have much challenges because I'm a very talkative person and I'm very social. So I tend to like to interact with others and it's easy for me to make friends. But when I was in first form, the first day of school, I was a bit shy because new faces and all, and people that you are not used to, people that you've never seen before. And even in my class, there wasn't any students that I left primary school with, so it was just me. So for the first day of school, I was there with my mother and I had to sit in her lap and everything. And I even wanted to go home because I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people here, so many new faces. But as time progressed, I made a lot of friends and I formed some bonds with a lot of people because, as I stated before, I'm a very social person. I like to interact with others. So I didn't really have much challenges. So, like, after the first day, then it was just a breeze after that. How would I encourage others? So just breathe and relax because they're going to be your family someday. They're going to be like some of these persons that you're going to be in class with. You may never know they may end up being your best friend or somebody who you can rely on, some a shoulder to cry on. So it's not it's not as scary as it seems. So just relax and take it easy, and it's going to be okay. Don't be like me and sit in my mommy's lap and shy away, but it's going to be okay.
All right, Ronald, your experience and how will you help others
Um,
to navigate?
I found as though upon transition into high school, it was chaotic. Uh, Everyone was bigger than me because I'm a relatively short guy. The buildings were bigger compared to my primary school. The entire place was as of a maze. I was confused. And funny story, the first week of high school, I lost my lunch money. And every day. And to this point, I cannot tell you where it went, who took it. But all I know was 1 minute me I play, and the next minute my lunch money was gone when lunchtime comes around. So that was very hard. The first week was tough because I couldn't go home and tell my peers that I lost my lunch money and all of these things because I'm supposed to be taking a bit of responsibility, but that never happened. But as I grew older and I continued to charter my journey into high school, I found out that we all were at the same level of confusion. We all were as intimidated as everyone else because none of us experienced this before. And I mean, persons may mask it a lot better than other persons do. And as Shaniel said, I am a very, well, as she said for herself, I think that goes for me as well. I have always been a very vocal person. So it wasn't hard for me to acclimatize and to adjust. But my size was always a deterring factor because everyone would bother me about my size. I would be a bit bullied. I don't consider it bullying because it's my friends. I didn't really consider it bullying. But just remember that you're not the only one in this. We're all in this together. And as time goes by, you will learn to adapt and you learn that these people are going to be your friends, your families, and they're also going to be the persons who you share most of your key memories with. So I think that's my tip. Just take it one step at a time.
Great tip. And I like the dynamics here. So Tobijah was on the shy side, or so he thought. Shaniel more outspoken, and then Ronald would have been in between. So a good mix here. And I must pause here to thank Max Leiber, the student council president for Glenmuir High School, for helping to pull these awesome young people together. Yes, Max would have loved to be here joining us, but unfortunately he could not make it because of some other challenges, right? So he selected Ronald, Tobijah, and Shaniel to represent for their institution. And I think that's a big deal to have Max Liable, Glenmuir High School, being able to say from Clarendon College, Tobijah, Shaniel from Denbigh, and to represent the Glenmuir family, Ronald. I think hats off to you. You three must have done some really awesome, awesome job throughout the year. These are for Shaniel and Tobijah, the Student Council Presidents 2022 to 2023. And Ronald was on the executive of the Student Council body there at Glenmuir. However, effective tomorrow, September 1st, 2023, he will be the Assistant Vice President for the National Student Council body. I really need to
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
congratulations, Ronald, on your election. And I know you'll be doing an awesome job throughout this year. All right. But before we get to that section, because that should have set the pace for the leveling up part of it, but I couldn't contain the excitement. All right. So we're going to continue to share some tips. And as we share, if there are new students, as in you're just going into first form, or you're changing school, going into a new school environment, or you've been in the same school, but you're still not yet adjusted and you have questions, please go ahead and ask your questions in the comments and share some of the challenges that you might have experienced. And like Ronald, I don't know if you lost your lunch money every day for the first week. Those help as well, so that others who are looking on, they might be watching the replay, they can see that, hey, just as our counselors share, that we're all in this together. All right. Amazing. All right. So some other tips, because part of the reason why we do this in terms of the Serenity Resource Connector is to help others to navigate. We would have gone through certain experiences before. Others who are coming, it ought not to be so difficult for them. So you're basically just reaching a hand down to pull up others to help to make the process a little easier for them. So let's guide them in terms of some of the resources that are available through the Student Council body. All right, we're starting with Ronald this time. Some of the resources available. Give me two of the resources that's available for newcomers. They're not acclimatized and they want to get access to some resources. What are two top resources you can think of?
From the student council body, I find as though the student council body is such a friendly and warm place within our high schools. They are that pillow that you just can bank on and know that. And we also really like to enforce or reinforce rather the fact that everyone has a voice. And even for persons who are shy like Tobijah, for example, we would point you out. We're not necessarily picking on you, but we would help you to acknowledge that voice that you may have that may be buried behind so much. Oh my God, I cannot do this, and all of those other deterring factors. And secondly, we also, to back up my first point, we like inclusivity. everyone has to play a part, everyone has to take a role. So with that being said, I think those would be the two strongest resources in my opinion.
All right. All right. I wish I'd taken that up from earlier because at my tender age, I'm just recognizing the uniqueness of my voice. So, all right, amazing. All right, some congratulations going up in the comments there for you, Ronald. You can go ahead and respond. All right, Tabijah, your
Okay,
top two
so
resources.
hello again, everyone. So as for student council, just a general info. So you also know that the student council in each school is there to not as a club but an organization to help guide and nurture to advocate for the rights of students. As a student council president, it is our duty to lead the organization in order to create that environment. And so, as president, we should be at the forefront. There's an exec, you have the councils, and so I believe in teamwork and unity. And so, as my brother Ronald said, inclusiveness, yes, inclusiveness. Okay, so it's that bringing together. It's always being there for each other. And so, as I said, family. And so, the student council on a whole is a family for me because as before I became president as a student council rep, they were family. They were the ones you could rely on, help with anything you can go to because they are there for you. And so being president is to create that environment to guide others to say, hey, you can do this. You're not alone. And so the council is there to create opportunities, is there to give out orders, delegate responsibilities. And so, starting from first farm all the way to sixth farm, it's the student council is there to help students to gain confidence, to know that we're in this together, and to help develop certain skills within our school environment.
Okay, Shaniel.
Okay, so adding to what Ronald said about having a voice, the student council is like major help when it comes on to that because a lot of times students don't directly go like say to the principal or to their teachers or whoever, so having student council representatives two in each class, different grades, um, is important so that if they don't feel comfortable speaking with a superior, they can just tell it to their classmate. And then when we have meetings during the week to get an update and to see what the issues are that students are having within the school, um, yeah, that helps. I forgot what I was going to say. Yes, so that helps. Also, oh Jesus.
It's all right.
I'm a bit
Mention.
nervous. I'm a
Yeah,
bit nervous. Can't stop shaking.
that's okay.
So it
We're just
helps
asking.
them to
Yeah.
be confident, to give them that voice, and it also helps towards in the future where, as said, they're supposed to go to college or in their working environment, so they know that they're not going to back away, they're not supposed to be shy because they have the confidence, so when there are arising problems they can speak out and to say this happened. And yeah.
All right, no problem. It happens. All right, awesome. So what I'm hearing is that the student council body is there, and for those who are not so vocal like Shaniel and Ronald and Tobijah, now is no longer shy. Right, they can feel comfortable in having that kind of discussion with their classmate. I know the lunch is usually a challenge in schools. Is the same? Is it the same still?
Yes, it's still a challenge. It's still a challenge,
Never
but
comfortable.
it's
Yeah.
not easy to get around. It's not easy, especially after COVID. It's been so chaotic. But hopefully, like as time progresses, it changes.
I
All
think
right.
really, I think really, well, my
Go ahead,
um,
Ronald.
my perspective of the whole thing is. When we were in lower school, that was the nightmare of the century. But as we progressed, I think, well, we're all the same age. I'm knowledgeable of that fact. And I think my counterparts can now say it's a bit easier. It's not as hard as first form.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you have
yeah. It's
known
Don't
her.
scare the first formers. No, remember we're supposed to be. So you're
No,
gonna share now. You're gonna
we're
back
going to
that up with
share.
a tip on how to
Yes.
navigate that for the first
Yes.
formers. Remember,
Yes.
it's a
Uh,
new.
as I
Those who are
said,
new to the school environment, we want to share or how they're
sure.
gonna navigate that.
As I said, as we continue on our high school journey, we make friends who turn into family. The way how I navigated my lunch situation was I made friends who are now family. Whereas
mhm.
we had a group and okay, cool. Monday it's my day, and if I have a friend group of five, one person collects the money and collects the order on a list, and you go and get the lunch. Tuesday, somebody else's job. Five friends, 5 days in the week, and know that I'm at the upper school level where I am, the persons within the lunchroom or lunch area, wherever or whatever you have at your school, they would have now known my face. And if I am in a jam, I can say, Miss, honestly, so and so is happening. But I'm not going to cut the first farmers in. No, of course not. Because if I continue to do what was done to me, that's not going to affect the change that we want to see. So just continue doing your thing, and the friends that you have now will in turn family.
All right, and Miss Salter mentioned that that's her friend from grade 8. Let's see. I still have my best friend from grade 8. So there you go. All right.
Yeah.
So
Also,
there.
to add to the lunch thing, I just saw Miss Salter mention it. I was going to say it. You can buy at my school. They can purchase a ticket from early. So when you buy it in the morning, the only problem you're supposed to have is just to go and collect it. Or what some students might do. It depends on what they're buying. You can cash a ticket and then you collect it. That way when lunchtime comes around, you don't have to come out of your class, you don't have to be in the jam to say to get your lunch. So you can buy your ticket from early, buy your lunch from early, and then when everybody has struggled, you sit down back and yeah.
Or
Oh,
I
Denbigh
I have
sounds
to
very coordinated.
I have to highlight what Miss Salter said just a while ago. Take your
Yeah.
lunch. I don't think anything beats a home cooked
Yeah.
meal. Take your lunch. And when the time comes, you eat your lunch and there is no hassle. So
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, Ronald,
independently.
not everybody's going to, not everybody I don't think it would really make sense for everybody to take their lunch, because then you would not be building to the school, because so the money from the talk shop and from the canteen and so forth that go towards building the institution. So if
True, true, true.
everybody's supposed to take their lunch, what is going to happen to the school? I mean, yes, I can take a lunch, but still support the school.
True,
Spoken
true,
like
true,
a
true,
real student council
true.
rep because part of your mission
President,
is to
yes.
be the president. That's uncorrected, right? It's to help to build your institution. I'm glad you pointed that out. It's part of building the institution, but not everyone will ever take lunch. Even if you have 30% taking lunch, some don't have the luxury of taking lunch from home. So that will never be the case. So for those who can, it helps to alleviate the pressure too on the lunchroom. So, right, that's a good mix in terms of taking your lunch. That's an option, and buying your ticket for those schools that have that luxury of having tickets. All right. Is there a system at Clarendon College, Tabisha, where lunch is concerned?
No, just a pod program and cafeteria and also top shop. But
Okay.
as in terms of taking your own lunch, I took my own lunch in first form and all my classmates they was off after me. You said, you carry your kitchen in your bag, man. So that's another tip. Don't be ashamed to carry your lunch if you can. You can carry your lunch. Be proud with your lunch kit. It's helpful because you have your knapsack and it's gonna be a packed bag because you have a schedule for classes. So carry your lunch kit, carry your lunch, and enjoy your lunch. It's yours. So yeah,
Don't be afraid.
don't be
All
afraid.
right. And I'm going to say it here in this space, especially for some, we are coming from very humble beginnings. It's quite okay because it's your beginning is never your ending. You write your own story. When I was in first form, I took my own lunch, right? Because I didn't have lunch money to take to school. So I used to love white rice with that fried egg. Yes, and by lunchtime it's cold, and I sat right there in the class. I didn't hide. I was right there, and I had my lunch. When I stepped outside, shoulders up, head high, and I am gone about. I'm there on a mission. You have to be focused, right?
Yes.
Oh Lord, so awesome. Justin Wallace says he's late. All right, Justin, you're gonna be able to catch the replay. All right, so we're sharing some fun stuff here. We were talking about the launch, navigating the launch. All right, it's all done. Yeah. All right, come on, we have to be real. One time I took porridge and they laughed at me. First and last day, I carry lunch. No, I carried my just the same. It's something I enjoyed, and that's part of growing up. It's gonna be part of navigating, so adjusting and leveling up. All right, so we're gonna switch gears into the. Remember, if you're on and you want to ask question, go ahead and ask your question. Educators that are on, if there are some areas that your students would have struggled with in the past that you want to highlight, go ahead and ask as well. I like that too, rice and fried egg. Oh yes, that's right. All right. So a part of leveling up that I want to bring out here, as I was sharing with our counselors here, that one of the things that I wished I'd done in high school was participated more in extracurricular activities, because it helps to build you and help you to identify areas that you can develop on. All three mentioned in terms of confidence, right? And all the clubs offer you that opportunity. All right. So for Tobijah, in addition, from first form, Tobijah has been actively engaged. Assistant monitor, block monitor, and then student council, club assistant secretary in the 4-H, still in the 4-H up to the time you exited.
No, no,
No,
no.
you're left 4-H, acting prefect, student council president 2020 to 2021, and then again 2022 to 2023, ICF president, senior prefect. So many things here. National Student Council, Region 7 Secretary, PRO 2022 to 2023, Peer Counselor Club, and so many different things. But he's also actively engaged in his community. He's the youth, help me out. I don't know what's going on with my thing here.
You
Youth
leader.
president
Yes,
and
you.
praise worship leader at his church. A lot of things there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Shaniel, in addition to being the Student Council President 2022 to 2023, Sixth Form Association Vice President, ICF Key Club Netball, Field Hockey, Speech and Drama, Dance, Ronald, so many different things, Empowerment Network. Uh, I love this one of assisting the young men, Student Counselor, Vice President for the History Club, Key Club Executive Member, Academic Mentorship Supervisor, former footballer, prefect, among so many different things. That's what you call leveling up. Oh, Tobijah, from being very shy going into high school, how did you make the transition, Tobijah, in getting involved, and how did that help you?
Okay, so for me, it's always God at the forefront. As I said, I'm a Christian, so it's always God. So I'm a shy person, still a shy person, and so that boldness is literally from the Holy Spirit. And so at first, when I entered CC, I wanted to be the head boy, and so I would pray every day. I wanted to be the head boy, so God make me a prefect. But then in third form, he gave me the chance to become a student council. Then in fourth form, captain council. Then from fifth form to six. For 3 years, I've been the student council president. And so it's it's putting God at the forefront. And when you just enter high school, you're going to be shy. You're going to have a lot of emotions, but communication, trusting God, getting to know each other. And so, in doing that, it will help you develop skills because you're thinking about your future. And so, even know what I tell my schoolmates when I encourage them, you're the captain of your own boat. Your boat is sailing, and there are a lot of issues in school that you're going to face. But you're the one that makes that choice whether you're going to run away, or you're going to lead, or you're going to stand. So I always tell them at Clarendon College, trust God. That will carry you far. Once you trust God, He will never leave you. Because He said in His word, He will never leave you nor forsake you. So it's trusting God. And so that's what I've been doing all the years of my life. I've been trusting God. I've been putting every step of the way before Him. And so every position, every step, it's always God. And so you have your issues, but don't let the issues stop you. You have things that are going to happen first form, second form, third form. Your classmates are going to say something, teachers might say something, the heads might say something, but still persevere and excel. And so as our motto at Clarendon College say, persevere and excel. And so, despite everything, we have to be resilient. We have to take charge, and we have to lead with passion. And so, you can't do what you don't love because there isn't going to be any passion. So, find something that you love, find something that you enjoy, find something that makes you comfortable. That say, hey, this is me, and work towards it. Don't back away from it, no matter the critics, no matter what anyone says. Because the enemy is always going to come with something. But we have to pray and trust God through it all.
Indeed. Right. All right. So, Ronald, I'm going to give you this one because part of being involved in all of these things, because sometimes some of our students don't get involved because they think it's going to detract from their academic performance. How do you maintain your grades while participating in extracurricular activities? Another aspect of leveling up. Thank you for that, Lady Elvie.
That question, that question, that has been a struggle for me for a majority of my high school years. And I'm not going to sit and behave as if it wasn't. It's the worst thing that you can imagine because it doesn't come with any warning, it just comes. One day I'm an A plus student, the next day I'm a B plus. Teacher proceeds to call me to the staff room. Why are you sleeping in this subject? Why are you sleeping in this area? I find as though you need to quickly develop time management skills, and that's not an easy thing to develop because I perform in my various activities because I love what I do. As a former footballer, that was where I found as how my grades started slipping. I was at matches, probably, let's say, give or take 15 matches before we subsequently dropped out at whatever competition we were in. And when I came home, I was tired. I couldn't study. All I did was eat and sleep. And sometimes I didn't even eat. But then I found out quickly that at some point in time, I need to have that balance because I was being told now that I cannot hold the position that I hold and be an exemplary role model for others if I cannot both balance my academics, which was why I'm at the school that I am, and both my extracurricular activities. So I started writing down what I needed to do, getting them done. School comes first at all times because I was called a student athlete, not an athlete student, a student athlete. So my grades would have come first. I did, if I did 15 minutes of reading today, I knew that the other day I needed to top it up to half an hour. So it's hard. It is very hard, but gradually, as I said prior to all of this, you will get the hang of it because it only gets harder, but you only get smarter. So that's a part of leveling up. So
All
that's my
right.
tip.
I love that. I love that, Ronald. And I love you being real. no cushioning anything, right? Justin is saying be involved because it's helped to build your character and leadership skills for the working world, definitely. And that's part of what Ronald just shared, because now you have to adjust. So part of adjusting to is, if it is that you have taken on all of these things, you have to know when to shed some of them and prioritize what it is that you have to maintain, what it is that you can do less of. And that's part of developing your character, because you have to be part of building credibility too. All right, as Ronald shared, because hey, yes, we like the idea that you are getting involved in all of this, and yes, the football team is doing great, but for Glenmuir, you got to maintain those averages. All right, so you got to find that leverage there. Shaniel, leveling up, what leveling up looks like for you. How have you been? How did you navigate your leveling up? And this will help to answer this question that Elvis Salter posed earlier. What advice do you have for first formers as they adjust from 6 subjects at grade 6 to 13 at grade 7? To take this level up question.
Okay, so all right, so what advice? All right, so as I stated before, just you have to take it a day at a time, because you can't just expect that it is going to happen overnight. So you have to take it a day at a time. It's not going to be easy, but at some point you have to adjust whether you like it or not. So, yeah, take it a day at a time.
How did you do it? Just taking it a day at a time? How you managed it with
Um,
all the activities that you were involved in? How
how
did you
did I
make it?
manage with all the activities?
Yes.
All right, so those were all things that I love to do. So things that I was passionate about, like being the voice for people advocating. Dancing is something that I'm very passionate about, and even speech and drama. Um, there are times when I failed, and instead of being a student athlete, I was a athlete student. Because as Ronald stated, a lot of times when all of this is all of the activities are over, you come from training, you're so tired, and then when you get home, you just want to sleep. So for me, like this year, I had been going to Jamaica's hockey team national training, and training was in the night for most of it. We only had like 1 or 2 days when we had training in the early morning. So those times coming back from training, I'll be reaching home because training is in Kingston. So I'll be reaching home like after 11, those hours, and I'll be so exhausted. But education comes first, because without the education, all the other things that you love to do, you won't be able to do them, because especially like the netball, the football, the hockey, because they're all ISA competitions, and you have to have grades in order to participate and to play those sports. So don't be an athlete student, be a student athlete. And um, it also takes a toll on your mental health, but you know, you'll get through it. Yes, it takes a toll on your mental health, because you're going to be tired not only physically but mentally, until it starts to affect your education. But as I stated before, education comes first. So it's all about balance and time management and what you prioritize. Yeah.
All right. So, although we're passionate about these different things, we have to remember the primary reason why we're there. And a lot of the activities that you all get engaged in, it's to beef up that resume so it looks attractive so you can get into your institution of choice after you leave high
Not
school
really.
and get there without the academics, right? So
I don't
you
think, not to cut you, Miss Peter, I don't think we really, well, if I knew the struggle and turmoil that I would have to be going through, I don't know, maybe I would gauge myself a bit more. But I found that, all right, Jamaicans naturally have this mentality, say, oh, dropping a first song, you're too enough. I don't believe in that. There's no such thing as too enough. There's a thing as me putting myself out there, and there's a thing as me
Yeah.
networking for certain resources that will be for my
Yeah.
for the greater good, if I'm not being selfish here. So I would like to, for all the upcoming first formers, there's no such thing as enough. You can't be too enough. The club's not running
That's
away, and the clubs they don't have a limited amount of persons who can join. And I can guarantee you, the entire school is not joining one club. So there's no such thing as enough. Do what you have to do to get where you need to get, because at the end of the day, we're moving on and upward, not downward.
I love that you're being so real, Ronald, because it's a real world and we need real responses, some real challenges that they're going to encounter, and there are some real solutions. Some of the resources that you mentioned that you get access to by being a part of these clubs, share some of those so that they can get a better understanding.
Me?
Yes, you
Oh,
mentioned that, right. You get
so
involved,
okay.
you're enough because it gives you access to certain resources.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I mean, I think, well, I don't think. I know that they say, show me your friends, show me who you are. I align myself with persons that will carry me upward. I believe in upward mobility. Uh, Persons may not know it, or viewers rather may not have known, obviously, that Shaniel and Tobijah were my friends before this, and I knew them through networking. I knew Shaniel through our joint love of the arts, speech and drama, performing. And I knew Tobijah through networking again within NSSC, National Secondary Students Council. So without knowing these persons, I would have lost out on multiple things that are beneficial to my future. And I have gotten a lot of opportunities, for example, to meet with a lot of influential persons. I believe that if we align ourselves with the movers and shakers, and I'm not saying go and friend up somebody just because you need, no, I'm not saying to be fake. I'm just saying align yourself with persons who are leveling up. And additionally, I met um, another person, a scout, a footballing scout, through football. And that was because I aligned myself with specific persons who will benefit, or who will be of benefit to me rather. So those are just some of the resources. And I don't always think that you need to make or find new bonds with people just because they can give you something. Shaniel never gave me any money, but she's a great friend. Tobijah never gave me any money either, but he's a great friend. And I would like that if there's anything that would be beneficial to me, she would send it along. If there's anything for that he has that would be beneficial to me, he would send it along. So that's just how I believe that we work, and that's how life should go.
All right. And you just gave a perfect definition of what networking really is. All right. It's not what I can get from you, but what is it that I can do to support you. And once you do that, it's a gift, it's just paying it forward. And the other person will, and it's not in cash, but sometimes it's just open doors that you didn't even know that existed. So that is powerful in terms of being a part of these different clubs, right? So be a part of the clubs, but also bear in mind you have to maintain that balance. And it's not just being a part of a club, just to be a part of a club because the school says here to be a part of a club. Find something that you connect with that it can help you to grow. So it helps you to adjust as well, building your confidence so that you can practice proper time management. Because if you don't have additional things doing, especially the question earlier about transitioning from doing 9 subjects to 13 or 6 subjects to 13, that's more than double, right? So that in itself is going to stretch you. So you're going to have to develop that muscle somewhere else for you to put it to work so you can benefit from it. So awesome stuff. All right, let's take this one. Let's see, which of you are early birds? What can students do to ensure that they are early for school? This is a discipline that
Okay, I want to
Elijah,
answer that question.
go right
I want
ahead.
to answer that. Okay. So if you know that you live far, like a good little distance, then I would urge you to get up earlier than normal so that you reach on time for school. So there was this little issue going on with the whole taxi and everything, but I believe that if you like leave out earlier than you normally leave out, then you'll reach like the taxi stands or where the taxis normally are, so that you can get first pick. Well, not necessarily first pick, but you can be there early enough to catch the rise. I remember it got so bad that I called my mother one day and told her that if X, Y, and Z time come and I don't get a taxi, I am going back home because it does not look good for me, big student council president, to be marching in the school after hours, and I know that people will be talking about that and to say how they want to tell us so we must reach early and look at the student council president or any other persons with position for that matter to say, look at that person coming in X, Y, and Z time, and that is not a good example any at all. So I would urge you to leave out earlier than normal, especially if you know that you live far away and transportation is hard to get. I have to take 3 different transportations to reach the school. So it's not easy, but put in the effort and to try wake up early so you can leave out early and reach school on time.
All
Another
right.
another point I want to make
Go
on
ahead,
that
Tabisha.
is be organized. It's best to have your timetable. It's best to see which class you have so that you can pack your books accordingly overnight so that in the morning when you get up you don't have to, oh my, where's this book, where's that book, but that you have everything in one place so that when you get dressed you get your knapsack and you can leave out early. So it's best to be organized, it's best to pack overnight and have everything ready for the next morning.
Awesome point. And I know a number of students, well, not just students, a number of us don't like maths, but I remember in primary school, we used to get these different these long questions. If it is that you need to reach a particular destination at 9 a.m. and it takes you 2 hours to get there, what time do you need to leave for you to get there on time? But part of the thing that that didn't teach you is that the same thing that Tabisha mentioned. If it is that you're gonna get up and pack your bag the same morning or iron a uniform the same morning that you're gonna leave out, then you're gonna have to wake up earlier, right? So being organized helps in terms of leaving with adequate time. And if you live in an area where transportation is challenging to get, then you know you have to leave very early. Back in the days, we used to take the early bus, and that means that you're always going to be early. But now we have so much convenience and we get there late, anyways. All right, amazing. I see Tamika joining us, watching the replay. She's responding to something that Tabisha would have shared earlier. Yes, great point indeed in terms of being organized. Thank you, Justin. That's a part of what we aim to do here in the Sarita Resource Connector, to provide you with information and inspiration. Because I'm sure these young people are very inspiring to some of the newcomers. I'm glad Kamisha mentioned that he was shy. Still is getting over it. All right. But you know what
Uh,
I realized recently? It's not so much about shy now, it's your personality type. Because some people seeing you and the way you share and lead, they might not connect that with being shy. All right, here's
um,
another gem here. One moment, Ronald. As a first former, you need to be proactive, plan ahead of time. Planning ahead of time is best. All right, not just
That's
first
true.
formers, but in general. Go ahead, Ronald, and share.
No, I was actually just speaking about that and what Toby just said about him being shy, or about what you said rather. I
Yeah.
think we were in primary prep school. Our friend group was our family, literally. So Tabijah's family knowing his capabilities because he's comfortable around them. He may not come off as being shy, but now entering high school, they don't know you. You have to make a name for yourself. So now you have to go out there and push
Yeah.
yourself to the
Out of
limit.
your comfort zone,
Oh,
level up.
exactly,
It's a part
exactly.
of
Yes.
adjusting
Yes.
and leveling up. And as you mentioned earlier, the importance of communication being a part of different groups so you can start building new bonds and you are able to develop new skills because those help you to be more confident. So you're no longer Tabijah in its little corner, but you're out there. And we're going to have a different discussion about a little deeper about some of those roles that you all took on. Right. But just to share some additional resources, because I get to understand that there are some students going into university who have not yet secured boarding. So here are a couple that I'd reached out to source, Mona Heights, and there's a number here for Miss Perkins that you can call. If you know anyone who got accepted to UAU Tech, have not yet secured boarding, there are a couple numbers there that you can share for them to call. And hopefully those spaces are still available because we need to get them in so they can go out and shine. All right. Final leg to the wrap up. I need each of you to share. You're going to share some takeaways, leave something with the students in general, but you're going to speak specifically to those who are new to the environment in terms of um, what it is that you would want to. Just a quick moment here. Yeah, just a word of encouragement for them as they go into their new environment and seek to adjust. Let's start with Shaniel.
Wow.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so breathe, relax, take it a day at a time. Don't be a procrastinator and be enough because it will help you in the future. Be enough.
You know,
And oh, one more thing. If you're going to do something, give it your all. Those are my few little words.
In Jesus' name. All right. It's called leveling up, not being up. You're leveling up. You're not supposed to be on
Leveling up.
at the same
Let
stage
Yes.
at every leg of the journey. You must be always be growing, right? So that's how you adjust and move to the next level. Because that's what it's all about, right? It's a competitive world out there, and we have to prepare for that. And that's a part of the process. All right, Tabijah, encouragement.
Okay, so my encouragement to you is that don't be afraid to stand up for what is right. Don't be afraid to let your voices be heard. And always put God first. Never be ashamed of standing up for God. Never be ashamed of going out there and witnessing, especially as Christians. Never be ashamed of being you. So level up, be enough, yeah, level up. So just be you, be confident, because you got this. Even when you don't think you got it, you have it. And at the end of the day, you can always go to God, you can always talk to him because he's our father and he's willing to listen. So be confident, be brave, and always trust God.
All right, just a telephone call away. I don't even need an actual telephone line, right? Never
Yeah.
busy.
never
Ronald,
ever be.
uh, my motivation is God. Just
yes.
what I said. What I do, thou knowest not, but thou shalt know hereafter. John 13:7. Uh, I think at times we get placed in certain positions that are necessary for growth and development and subsequently leveling up, but we don't know because our God is a very on time God. He does not give us more than we can bear, and He doesn't give us more information than that we need to know at the moment. So I would say, in accordance to what Tabitha said, trust God. really and truly, because he knows the future. You don't. So if it's a positive, if you see where the path that you are charting is one of positivity, and the people you surround yourself with are positive people, why not go for it? The only situations that you can determine are the ones that you try to attempt. And a lot of our first formers will now become student counselors in the upcoming year, school year rather, which is a few days away. And they will learn that responsible students do make the difference. So with getting this tool, this gem, or this unique opportunity to use your voice, we will also, or I will rather, also caution them and remind them to use it responsibly, because this voice can be the determining factor between leveling up and staying where you are presently. That's all I have to say.
Good point.
Well said. Well said. All right. So we got quite a bit here, different points. And you can go ahead and share. I see some persons sharing in the comments. You can go ahead and share what it is that's your takeaway from all that's been said here. All right. Justin Wallace is saying NSSC motto. All
Responsible
right.
students make the difference.
Yes.
Responsible students make the difference. Indeed. Responsible citizens make the difference as well, but you can't be responsible
Mm.
citizens unless you
It has been
learned
a
it
student.
along the way, right? All right. Yes, I sort of indeed really proud of our young people.
Thank you.
And this is why we create this space. So if you're not yet following the channel, subscribe to the channel rather, you want to go ahead and do so. Serenity Resource Connector on Instagram as well, on Facebook, where you can see the upcoming guests and the topics that we'll be discussing. We have on first Thursday Culture Club in partnership with the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC. And Shaniel is from the Performing Arts. Ronald, you also did some performing arts as well, right? So we have Culture Corner and on first Thursdays. On second Thursdays, we partner with the JCF Area 3, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, where we share safety tips, and we have young people like yourself who share from time to time as it relates to, well, more so the officers who share what is that taking place in the community through the police youth clubs, the neighborhood watch, and we also have business watch for the business people. So you can be a part of that in terms of helping to level up in your communities, right? On fourth Thursdays, partnership with the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. There's a whole list of discussions from last year in season 2 where we shared all the departments at the municipal corporation and what it is that they do, the services that they provide, how you can access those services. This year we have our counselors. Young people, you need to know what your counselors are doing. I know a number of you, especially those who are in leadership at school, look to that area from time to time. That's good, being a part of the change that you want to see, but you can learn from that in terms of some of the things that they're doing, some of the challenges they're experiencing, and you can lend your voice to as to how they can remedy some of these situations in your communities. So don't just keep it in the school, in the church, but the wider community, be a part of that discussion. Fifth Thursdays, we have our youth leaders from across the different groups, and we're going to be doing more of the school groups coming up. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in, whether you are here with us live or you're watching the replay. All right. Some awesome comments coming in. Great job, Shaniel. You know, Aqua Nation is proud. All right. Let's see. How about, there's a question here. How about an environmental slot? My bias. Oh, we did have our environmental group. So if there's a, okay, sustainability coach. All right, third Thursdays. You all didn't catch me up on my maths. I miss third Thursdays. That's when we focus on community groups. That's where you would fall. So send me an email, Serenity Resource, Serenity Advisor, or send me a message on IG, or even leave a message here on the YouTube, and I'll reach out. Or my number 876-871-8960. Send me a WhatsApp message, 876-871-8960. Send me a WhatsApp message and we'll make it happen. All right.
Miss Witter?
And wish to wrap. Good luck to you all in your future
Councillor
endeavors. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Witter.
Yes.
As you said something about community, I don't know how I could have ever forgotten. Could I say something briefly, very very briefly?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I would like to give huge shout outs to one of my one of my greatest community accomplishments, the Agape Hope Foundation. It's a charity formed by young visionaries like myself, and we seek to effect the change that we want to see. So another tip: join something that gives back to your community because it's going to benefit you, your cousin, your auntie, your uncle, your sister, and your brother. You get the gist. So
The
that's all.
gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
Yes. Tobijah, you had something else to share?
No, miss.
All right.
Yes.
So that's a wrap for this episode of Youth in Action. So we'll see you next time, God's willing, with another group of youth leaders as they continue to lead the charge, inspire, and empower. Thank you again, and God bless you all. Have a great night.